So we're continuing with Vayomer Hashem Enam Echad V'Sefa Echad. It's on Torah or Daf Yud Amud Beis. Folio 10, page B, or column B. So now we're getting into the crux of what he's going to talk about. So he said, "Vi'ur ha'inyan uvan b'ma shekatav b'kivei Arizal Pardes binyan sheva shemot she'enan nichnakim." What does it mean that they wanted to use the names to draw down sustenance from above? That they want to force God to give them what they wanted. Okay?
No, where are you?
So the answer is that it has to do with what it means that there are 7 names that are holy. Kivavke and Elokim are the 2 main ones, and there's Tzvakot and Kel Shakai, Kel and Shakai and Adni.
How did they know these names?
They didn't know the names maybe the way that we know them, but they knew them in the way that we explain to people that when you don't know Hebrew, you should read in translation. You should read the concept. So the concepts they knew about, the concepts make sense, they're logical. So these 7 names are the ones that are considered holy, meaning that you're not allowed to erase them. Shem Kel B'Chesed, and they correspond to the Midot. Okay, they correspond to the Sfirot from Chesed to Malchus, from loving kindness to kingdom. So Kel, the power, is in Chesed, loving kindness. Shem Elokim b'Gvura. Elokim is in might. Havaya b'Tiferet. And then Havaya, which is the one that we call the essential name, the 4-letter name, it corresponds to the era of beauty, of Tiferet. Uferush. What this means to say is, Dehainu be'akelim dechagat. When it mentions the Sfirot here, it doesn't mean that the Sphira of beauty is Havaya. He means to say that the vessel of the Sphira is Havaya. The vessel of loving kindness is Ken. The vessel of might is Elokim. Why? Because there's also light inside. Each vessel has to have light inside it. How does that work? But the light that's in all these 7 vessels, these 7 names, is Havaya. So Havaya in beauty is both the vessel and the light. And then the other Sfirot, there's the vessel, which is the name, and Havaya permeates it. That's what gives it life. ורק בהקלים ובחסד שם כן. ובתפארת אפילו בהקלים מאיר שם הוויה. Like we just said. ולהבין זה, מפני מה בתפארת הוא הכלי גם כמכינת שם הוויה, מה שאין כן בשערי הספירות. What's different about Tiferes than the other ספירות? Why is it in Tiferes הוויה is both the kli and the light? יש להבין מה שכתוב במאמר תפתח אליהו. So, to understand this, we have to get into Patach Eliyahu. So really, this is his way of teaching us Patach Eliyahu now. Okay? And he wants to explain to us what this means. Really wants to explain why is the vessel and the light both Havaya. But now he's going to teach us the whole Patach Eliyahu. So here, he does it pretty in short. In Torah, in Torat Chaim, which the Midler Rebbe wrote, so it's 40 pages long to really explain it. And it goes into every single possible application of Patach Eliyahu. So we read Patach Eliyahu every Shabbos night. Okay? A lot of people read it every morning before they daven. So let's look at how Patach Eliyahu is built. So I actually prepared this and I printed it out so they would have both English and Hebrew. But now we only have Hebrew in front of us, because I forgot it. But it doesn't really matter, because the main work I didn't have time to. The main work is to divide the Patach Eliyahu into its 4 pieces. 5 if you count the first 2 words. 3 words. So how does it work? Patach Eliyahu v'amar. This is all from the Tikkunei Zohar. It's from the so-called introduction. I always had a problem with people calling something an introduction. I asked a lot of people who write books, when do you write the introduction? So everybody said, I write the introduction after I finish the book. Patach Eliyahu is part of the introduction to Tikkunei Zohar, which is 15 pages long. And clearly it was written long after the Tikkunei Zohar was written. Why is it so clear? It's very interesting that whoever has a problem with dating the Tikkunei Zohar, who claims that the Tikkunei Zohar is late, always notes the introduction. Because in the introduction there's a few phenomena that are very, like for instance, he quotes a Gemara from Baba Basra. Said, so what's the big deal? The introduction was written later. In the introduction there's the original introduction. And the original introduction is the Patach Eliyahu. This was there before. And I think that this is how the Tikkunei Zohar started originally. In any case. Patach Eliyahu ve'amar. So the soul of Eliyahu opened and said, Ribon al-min da'antu chad velo b'chushban, antu ilah al kol ilahin, stima al kol stimin, leit machshava tfisa bach klal. Nekuda. So that's really the introduction of the Patach Eliyahu. And this is the highest level. Here Hashem is called, you're one which is uncountable. You're higher than all that is high, more concealed than all that is concealed. No thought can grasp you. So that's a general statement. Because whenever we're going to talk about Hashem, if you're a Jew, so the first thing you say is, I don't understand. Because if I could understand, I would be Hashem. So I can't understand. First of all, that's the general thing. Now he goes, if I remember correctly from last year.
This is I think slightly deeper than that. I mean, maybe it's not that I don't understand, but that it's no thought, that the mechanism of thought is not grasped. Because I don't understand means that maybe it is understandable, but I don't.
Thought is not
thought. The
not the right vessel.
The mechanism of thought is not capable
100%.
of grasping.
Right. Now it divides into three parts, and what he's going to show us is that these three parts, they correspond to the three worlds that the Arizal talks about, which are called the Kudim, Nekudim, V'Rudim. And these all come from Yaakov's dream, which is probably the most mystical part of the entire Torah, because in Yaakov's dream, there's nothing similar. There's a few other psukim that are very mystical in the Torah, but the one that's really, the series of psukim that's really mystical is Yaakov's dream. And that's why the beginning of all of Kabbalah, which starts with the earliest part of the Zohar, which is Sifra de Tzniuta, is attributed to Yaakov.
But the rods was a dream?
What he saw in the dream was how to manipulate the cattle. But really what he was seeing was how the worlds are constructed, because whether you're manipulating cattle or you're manipulating something else, in any case you need to understand the structure of the world. So he taught him the structure of the world, that angel. And it says that he saw an angel in the dream, and the angel taught him. So it's really the only part of the Torah that is, as you read it, you realize you're reading something that is of a mystical nature. It's not talking about mitzvot, it's not anything like that. So that's the Sifra de Tzniuta, which is the earliest part of the Zohar. Here, he's going to show us that the Patach Eliyahu is basically saying the same thing. But he's giving a lot more information about how these three worlds work. So in short, how do they work? So the Akudim is that all the lights were contained in one vessel. Nekudim is that each light received its own vessel in a very complex process. But because it was cumulative, meaning that Chachma received everything that was in Chachma and down. Bina received everything that was in Bina and down. Das received everything that was in Das and down, and because it received too much light, it shattered. And that's what we call the shattering of the vessels. From Dat and down, they all shattered. And that's called Nikudim, the world of Nikudim. Then the world of V'Rudim...
Overcharging fried.
Yeah. And V'Rudim is already the world of rectification, Olam HaTikun. So that's the three-part process. One point...
Smart charging.
It all expands very quickly, and because of that shatters, and then a rebuilding in the world of V'Rudim. The middle Rebbe, when he talks about this, he specifically uses the model of a person to explain this in the psyche. So, and in the person, these are called Adam Pnimi, Adam Emtzi, Adam Chitzon. Akudim is the inner person. It's related to Eliyahu because he's the one who remembers how he was before Hashem, before he came into this world. He says, Chai Hashem asher amadti lefanav. That's the world of Akudim. That's the inner person, the inner man. The middle man, or the intermediate man here, Adam Emtzai, is the world of Vudim. And there, in the middle Rebbe associates him with Esav, because he's the world of Tohu. This is a big deal. That Esav is the way that he is because he's constantly experiencing a shattering of his vessels. He can't really integrate all the light that he's receiving. And the external man...
Tohu is more Nikudim, or is it Akudim?
It's exactly Nikudim. It's the same, except that Nikudim also existed before it broke. So Nikudim is a little bit more complex, but in the end it's called Ulam HaTohu. And Yaakov, he is the world of rectification. And he's the Vudim. So let's see how this works here. Antu da apika tasar tikunim v'krina lo nasar sfira. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, Aramaic. להנהג עבור נלמין סתימין דלא יתגלם אמין דתגלם בו נתכסיית מבני נשה ואנתו דקשו למייחד לו מגין דאנד ויגב כל מעד אפריש חד בחברי ואילן אסר ספירה נתחשב לי כאילו אפריש בך ואילן אסר ספירה נינו אזלין כסדרן חד אריך וחד קציר וחד בינוני. Right away we see that this is the world of rectification. How do we know? Because we know that in rectification there's three axes. The whole difference between the world of rectification and the world of Tohu was that in Tohu everything was in one line, was one single axis, and that's why everything received all the light as it came down, because each sphere was under all the others, so it received everything that was needed for what was below it. So Chochmah received all the light, then Bina receives all the light, and Dad receives all the light, but Dad already has a problem that it feels itself. And it says, Anaim Loch, and then it shatters because of that, because it can't contain the light. Meaning, it's a very interesting thing. It's okay to want to be your teacher. It's not okay to want to be your student. That's what it turns out to be. Meaning, it's okay to want to be your father. You can't be your son. That's like the lesson that out of this. Your son has to be something else. Don't try to hold on. Don't try to live for him. You have to live for you, and then he'll figure out how he's going to live. Don't try to hold on to that stuff. And by the way, it's also probably a good advice in terms of how to handle finances. You don't need to worry about how he's gonna live. So you have to worry about how you're gonna live. So you want to give something, but Hashem doesn't run the world rectified if you're constantly thinking about how am I gonna finance 50 generations from now. It's just not gonna work. So right away we see that this first part is about rectification, because we have a left side and a right side and a middle axis. ואנתו דאני גלון, ולית מן דאני גלח לו, לאלה ולותד במקרוב סיטרא, לבושין תקינות לון דבינה ופרחין נשמתין מבני נשו, וכמה גופין תקינות לון תתקראו גופין לגבי לבושין ומחסן עליהן, והתקראו בתקון נדח, חסד דרוע ימינה, גבורה דרוע שמאלה, תפארת גופה. So we see this whole thing, this is the structure we're familiar with as the structure of rectification. נצר ועוד טרין שוקין, יסוד צימוד הגופה, עוד ברית קודם, מלכות פת ראש והפה קרין עלה, חוכמה מוחה היו מחשבה מלגב, בינה לי מבין, ועליהן נטרין כתיב הנסרות להשם. כן, וכתר ליון וכתר מלכות, ועלי יתמר מגיד מראשית אחרית, ויהיו קרקפתא דתפילין ולגב, יהיו שמד, יהיו אורך הצילות, ויהיו שקו דאילנה בדרוי, ואנפוי כמאי דאשקל אילנה ויתרבה והוא שקיו. Full stop. Now starts the second part. So this was Vudim, this was the world of rectification. Now he says, he starts again. Ribon Almin, master of the universe, of the worlds. Antu ilat ilot, you're the cause of causes. Sibat asibot, the ashkel ilana v'u neviu kinishmat. Here we're talking about the world of causes. Which world is that? The world of chaos, the world of Nikudim. Nikudim is the cause of everything that we see. In other words, what we're doing in the Arizal's picture of reality is that we're constantly taking light from the world of chaos and we're trying to integrate it properly into vessels in the world of rectification. So it's the cause. It has all the reasons for why the world is the way that it is. Again, this is in the Rizal's way of thinking. The inner one gives life to the external one. ובך לדמיון בתקנה מקום מדרגה ובא עברת שמאי וער ואפיק המינון שימשה ושיער וזה כוכבי ומזליה ובער האילנים ודישאים וגינתא דעדן ועשבים וחבר וירין ואופים ונונים ובני נשה ודשמאי והון עילאין ואיך תנהגו נילאים ותתאים ואיך תמודם עילאים ותתאי ולעדי יד הבך כלל ובר מנחלת ייחודה בעילאי ותתאי ואן תשמודה עילת על כולה ואדון על כולה וכל ספירה אית להשם ידיעה ואון יתקראו מלאכיה ואנת ללחשם ידיעה דאנתו מלא כל שמם ואנתו שלימו דחולה וכדאנט תסתלק מן הון ישתרו כולו שמן כגופה בלא נשמתה. So here we're suddenly talking about names. Until now he didn't mention names. So the names are related to the second and third levels. There's not so much the question of names in the world of tikkun. Antu mevin velo bebina yediah. Okay, gegufa belo nishmata. Another full stop. The last part is what the Rambam quoted, strangely enough. The Rambam, when he wants to explain who Hashem is, so what does he do? He says he's everything you don't understand. So if he has wisdom, it's not the knowable wisdom. If he has understanding, it's not the type of understanding that you understand. He has compassion, it's not the type of compassion you understand, and so on. So this is all something that's outside our frame of reference, and this is the world of Akudim. So he says, Ant, you are Hakim velo b'chokhma idea. Antu mevin velo b'bina idea. You're wise, but not the known wisdom. You're understanding, but not the known understanding. Leit lachatar idea. You have no known place. Ela lishtamuda tukfach v'cheilach livnei nasha v'lachazelo nech mitneheg alma b'din avrach medei tzedek mishpat kavum avdeim v'bnei nasha. This word lachaza is a big deal. It appears now 2 times. דין ובואה משפט עמוד עדי מצד הצדק מלכות הקדיש מוזני צדק טרן סם חקשות דין צדק קון ברית גודש כולה לאחר זה איך מתדאג עלמא אבל לאו דאית לך צדק ידיעה. All these sfirot that we talked about, it's not that you have any of them because you're not anything like this, you're not known in this way. It's all to put on a play for the people, for human beings to be able to function. So this is basically, if you want to understand the world as a simulation, you can understand it from here. La chaza. To show you. I'm showing you something. Does it mean that there's no world? No, it's a world. It exists. And so on. Baruch Hashem L'olam, Amen ve'Amen. So these are the 3 parts plus the short introduction. Beginning, everything I'm going to tell you, we don't understand with our understanding, but these are the 3 worlds, and they go in reverse order. And we start with the Bludim at the bottom one, and then the Kudim, and finally in the beginning there was the Akudim. So now let's look at how he's going to explain. ולהבין זה, ויש להבין, מה שכתוב במאמר דפתח אליהו, אנטו דאפיקת עשר תיקונין, וקרינן לו נסר ספירן. So this was the first part, right? Which was that you brought out 10 rectifications. Right away he uses the word tikunim. Tikunei Zohar. Why did you call it Tikunei Zohar? Because the Tikkun means that I'm going to explain it to you. So certainly it's later than the Zohar, because he wants to explain how the Zohar works. So the Tikunei Zohar is like a second version on the Zohar itself. And it's a second level interpretation. To take everything the Zohar told me, I want to put it into some kind of levush, some kind of garment, some kind of intellectual art garment.
The art scroll on the Zohar, the original art scroll on the Zohar.
Right, something like that. It doesn't really. It quotes the Zohar a lot, but like it does it in a way that is supposed to make it much more accessible. And it's true, it's much more accessible. It opens up many things that without it we really wouldn't understand how to read the Zohar. So the same thing here. Tikkunim means that Hashem took all this tremendous energy and he brought it into such vessels that would be possible for us to relate to them. So they're called tikkunim. And these tikkunim, what are they called? Asar sfiran. Okay? 10 sfirot. So 10 sfirot are really already a vessel, some kind of vessel. And in this case, they're already a rectified vessel. Why? Because we said they fall under 3 axes. Chesed, dua yamina. Chesed is the right hand. Chokhmah mochal bina liba. The wisdom is the brain, and the understanding is the heart. We talked a little bit about wisdom being a brain, moach, in the sense of marrow. B'chol sfira it l'Hashem yediyah, and each sfira has a name. Ve'ant leit l'Hashem yediyah, antu chakim velo b'chokhma yediyah. And notice that he switched now to which part? To the third part, to the akudim. He doesn't tell us this here. But if you follow inside, you see that now he switched without even saying anything. So we have the vessels, which are the spheres, and they're in Vudim, in the world of rectification. We have the names. You don't have a name, but you don't have a name that you're known by, but and not by this, and not in the wisdom that we know, and so on. That's all akudim. You just switched to it. So what's the idea here? It says, in the beginning he told us that we know what Chokhmah and Bina are. Chokhmah is the brain, and Mocha is the Bina is the heart. So we know what those two things mean. ומהו שאמר אחר כך, אנטו חכים דאין רוצה לומר אנטו חכים שמתלבש באותה בחינת חומה שהזכיר תחילה שהוא 10 ספירות. So he's analyzing it. He's saying these contradict. We already said what the answer is. He's talking about 3 different worlds. But now he's going through it. Okay?
What was the purpose of Shviras HaKelim? Why did Hashem make it the Kelim broke?
Who said that he made it?
Hashem made everything.
You can ask, what was the purpose of there being a sense of self, a sense of ana imloch that causes. So first of all, who said that Hashem created that? He gave free will, and the free will showed up already in the world of Nikudim, and it causes shvira. In Chassidus, it's explained very, very interestingly that there was another shvira that's not noted so much by the Mekubalim. They don't talk about it so much, but there was a planned shvira, and that was in the world of Akudim. Hashem had to break open the vessel. It was because in Akudim there's one vessel that contains all the lights of all the Sfirot. So he had to break open this vessel in order to release all the light. But that in a controlled
planned demolition.
Okay. He broke it on purpose. So when Hashem breaks, it doesn't fall apart. It doesn't shatter in every single direction. He makes it fall in. Okay. So what's the idea? So from this we learn, so all this, this is all of the same nature of not having names yet. And what does it mean not to have a name? So we know that to have a name, okay, the baby comes into the world, doesn't yet have a name. What does it mean that it doesn't have a name? It doesn't have a garment. Not to have a garment in the world, not to have a name means not to have an identity. Not to be separated from other things. And that's what we said. In the world of Akudim, there's no names because everything is in one single vessel. It's like we would treat all the people in a single city as having the same name.
It's like putting all your documents in one file.
Everybody here is called Yerushalayim. No, not just in one file. You can.
In one document.
Or just calling all... לא.
שם,
8:30.
בחניה.
איפה?
מהצד השני.
הצד השני?
של החניה, כן.
So there was no names. And it wouldn't even be under the same file. It would be like no name.
The baby did have a name.
Indistinguishable.
The baby does have
undifferentiable.
a baby does have a name when it's born.
What?
The baby does have a name when
What?
it's born. It's the parents have to announce it, but the name it has.
So Seno, you're saying that eventually the garment that you bring down is also from a very high source, but it's not related yet to this baby. In the same way that until you go to Misrad Apnim, they don't give him a Tudat Zut. Now they do to him, right? When he was born, he's already given Tudat Zut. It doesn't matter. But when he's in the womb, he doesn't have a Tudat Zut. So to give him a name is already to give him a garment. So it says names belong to a lower level. They belong to the level, in other words, that what a person feels in what's called the inner person, that the soul as it was before Hashem, before He came down into this world, it didn't have a name. It didn't have a garment. The coming down into this world differentiates one person from the other, one soul from the other. So before that, it's just like everything is under Hashem. Everything is antu chachim v'lo b'chokma idea. The souls are very wise, but they're not souls. They're not differentiated. The whole concept of differentiation only belongs to this world, and only when you give it a name. There's something that freaked me out when I heard it. I mean, it was a very difficult situation that we were in, whatever. And somebody, Rav Ginsburg, he pressured me very much that even if a child for certain is not going to live, have it delivered. Even if there's no way that he's going to, everybody said he's going to die after, he's either going to come out dead, the child's going to come out dead, or he'll live for a minute. He said, anyway, you should deliver. That's the Mesiras Nefesh for a soul. He said, it's not for you. It's got nothing to do with you. In general, your children have nothing to do with you. But I said, you bring it out for just a minute. Let it breathe one breath. Even one breath, that's enough. Why? Because in the thinking of Chazal, what does it say? That Mashiach can't come until all the souls come out of the body. Ad sheyichlun neshamot shebeguf. Guf, what is the guf? What body? What are you talking about? They're talking about the guf being how all the souls are undifferentiated in the world above, in the world of akudim. And so you can talk about energy, you can talk about world, you can talk about that, and you can also talk about souls being in the world of akudim. What this also means is that even when a person feels that they've come to the end of their abilities, they can always draw down a new name from akudim. That's the secret of giving a person a new name.
The most opportune time, or maybe the only time,
is when you're at
to
the
draw
end.
down new energies is when you have nothing left.
Maybe the only thing.
Maybe the only time.
But if you're a real chassid, you can do it every day.
If you're real fast, you have nothing left every day.
Okay, yeah, I'm finished. When I come back up tonight, I come to Hashem and say, that's it. I did everything I could with everything He gave me. Really used up everything. It's not quantity. It's quality.
Density.
Did I use my whole mind? So what is the thing that causes a person to use up all that he is? Torah and mitzvahs. Otherwise, you're not fulfilled. But at the very beginning of life, even just one moment of being in this world, even not getting a name yet, because you don't give a nefer, you don't give a miscarriage, a miscarried, what do you call it? What?
A name.
No, I just say nefer in English. Forgot the word. You don't give them a name. You bury them. They don't have a name. They're buried without anything. There's a certain tradition to maybe do a bris milah. Sometimes. It depends on the situation. So until 30 days, he's not considered yet to be mamash, have cheskas chaim, to have a state of life yet, of permanent life. But it's something. Maybe that's all this soul needed, to have some rectification. It was just that little thing. Anyway, so that's the beginning of understanding this whole issue of names, which eventually will explain to us what they were trying to do. So you can already guess what they were trying to do. They were trying to create a state of akudim in this world. They were trying to use names to go backwards, as it were. To go back into a state where all the names are in one vessel. Everything is meaning, who did that? Who tried to do something like that? They couldn't. They would love to do something like that. But all the empires in the world tried to erase the individuality, the individual name of a person. It's like something that, by the way, this is a big deal in terms of burial. Does a person have a name after he's after he passes away? Or does he not? Or does he just join back into that goof in Shemayim? So our understanding is, even if nobody remembers anymore, the fact that he was in this world, the fact that he lived in this world, and he had a name and he did mitzvot, that soul now has, and that's never erased.
But it didn't. You wouldn't be making all of these prayers like Yizkor and everything
Can't
else.
give, but what
where you
happens?
give the name.
Yeah, I don't remember the names of my great grandparents. I hardly remember. When I do Yizkor for my grandparents, I always have to work hard to remember their parents' names. Their parent, I hardly know anything about. Certainly, after that, I don't know anything.
Yeah, but that's your tough kid.
Oh, exactly. That the memory should only 2 generations. That's another topic.